Hello there, scholars. Alright, so in today's presentation, we'll learn how to use text features from the text Living Off the Land to locate information about the early residents of Orange County. So, there's my little cat friend who really likes looking at text features to learn lots of information. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. Here's our reading goal. Scholars, just like you, are able to locate information by using text features that authors include in their texts. So today, we will use this text right here, this text resource, about the early local native people, the Tongva people, to gather new information about them and how they lived here 1,000 years ago. Alright, so this will also be a little bit like a time machine travel too. Sounds cool. A very important text feature, the first one that we'll look at, will kind of head us in the right direction. And of course, that's headings. What's the purpose of a heading? Well, a heading tells the reader what this section is about. It is basically the title for the whole section. So find the heading on the image to the other side here. How does this heading, where it says Lions Rule, how does that heading help you understand the text? Pause here and talk to your partner about that. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's use what we learned about headings and how they tell the reader what the section is about and apply it now to our specific text that we're looking at. Here it is. Read this aloud with your partner. Okay, so as you read, Living Off the Land is the heading of this whole text here. It's kind of like the title of this page. How does this heading, how does this title of this page help us as scholarly readers? Well, this is what I would think. This heading tells us that this text will be about how people used the land around them to support their lives. It does say living off the land, and that helps me to think as a reader that this whole thing will be about how specific people use the land to help them live. Alright, so those are headings. Let's head on over to our next one. Our next slide shows subheadings. So what are subheadings? Read along with me. A subheading helps the reader chunk the text into smaller parts that are related to the heading. So have a look over at the picture. It looks kind of familiar. It looks like the one that we just looked at. But this time we're going to focus in on the subheadings. Find the subheadings in this image. How do they help you understand the text? Talk to your partner about how these two subheadings, Women's Work and Lions Play School, help you to understand what this text will be about. Pause the video while you have that conversation. Okay, so now let's go ahead and apply what we learned about subheadings to our very specific text here, Living Off the Land. So, hunting, you can see it there, the yellow arrows pointing at that little word. Maybe you could find it on your own text. Hunting is one of the many subheadings in this text. Can you find any other subheadings? Show your neighbor. Okay, I hope you found some. Alright, so how does this subheading, hunting, how does it help us as scholarly readers? Here's a little sentence frame to get you started as you speak with your partner about this. This subheading, hunting, helps us talk to your neighbor about that. Okay, so our first two slides were about headings and then subheadings. Let's move on to our next text feature. Drum roll, please. Illustrations. Illustrations and its counterpart, photographs, are pictures that help the reader to visualize the text. That word visualize is kind of a big word. Let's talk about it. It means that you can see what the text is talking about. It creates a visual of the text. So that's what an illustration or photograph does. It's a picture that helps the reader to visualize the text. So go ahead and look at the illustration that comes from a text about the food chain. Check it out right there. What does it help you understand? Talk to your neighbor about what it helps you understand. And then for the scholars out there, what would you do to make this an even better illustration to help readers understand more about the food chain? Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and have that conversation. All right, so welcome back. So we've talked again about headings and subheadings. We're starting to talk about illustrations. Let's apply what we know now about illustrations, pictures that help readers visualize the text, to our specific text, living off the land. So here we go. Around the subheading gathering, we see illustrations of women doing different types of work. Check it out. So how do these illustrations help us as scholarly readers? What kind of information do we get from these illustrations here? So go ahead and talk to your partner about that, and you can use this frame to help you. These illustrations help us Okay, welcome back. So let's go ahead and talk about our next text feature. One more time, drum roll. Here it is. Ready? Captions. Cool. Wow, wow. I love those teeth. Just in time for Halloween. So captions, and sometimes even text boxes, are the words next to or underneath a picture that explain what the picture or a photograph is about. So can you find the caption in this image? If you said it's the group of words next to the teeth that say, here is one set of George's fake teeth, you found the caption. So how does that caption help you understand the photograph? Talk to your partner about it. And I'll click pause. Okay, welcome back. Wow, those are teeth that really need some brushing. Call the dentist quick. Okay, let's move on. So let's apply what we learned about captions. Around the subheading gathering, you can see many illustrations of women gathering items. Makes sense. These illustrations have captions next to them. Read some of them and then determine how do these captions help us as scholarly, that's a hard word to say, how do these captions help us as scholarly readers? You can use this frame to help you. These captions help us, so go ahead and have a conversation about that with your partner, and once again, pause the video. All right, scholars, welcome back. We've talked about headings, we've talked about subheadings, we've talked about illustrations, we've talked about captions that go along with those illustrations. We have more to talk about. Here it comes. Everyone hold your breath. Here it comes. Woohoo! Okay, we are now looking at maps. Can you find a map on the text that I gave you? Okay, so maps are what? Maps are pictures that show the location of things or places. If you check out this map here of Washington, D.C., it might help you understand more about the city. And if you would like to click the PDF of the Washington, D.C. map, you'll see even more. So go ahead and look at that map and talk with your partner about how the map there helps you understand the city of Washington, D.C. Once again, pause the video. Okay, welcome back. Did I just say BAP? I said, welcome back, my map experts. There it is. Sounds better. Let's apply our knowledge of how maps support our understanding and help us locate information by looking at living off the land. Here we go. Okay, so check it out. At the top of the text, you can see a map of Orange County. Do you see it there? Cool. All right. So carefully look at that map. How does this map help us as scholarly readers? What does it help us to locate? What information do we get from this? Talk to your partner about it. This map helps us. Pause the video. Okay, welcome back. We've talked about headings. We've talked about subheadings. We've talked about illustrations. We've talked about captions. We've talked about maps. No, that's what we're still talking about. No, let's move on. Now let's talk about last one. Are you ready? You have to beg. Beg for it. Here it comes. Timelines. Sweet. Okay, so what are timelines? They are lines of time. Okay, really smart, Mr. Holland. Let's try that again. What are timelines? Timelines are charts that help readers see important events in the order they happened. Some people call that a sequence because it sounds kind of smart. A sequence of events. So check out the one here about Abraham Lincoln. All right. Can you see some of those events? If you zoom in, you might be able to read them better. And if you want a really cool timeline later, check out that link there about the timeline about Legos. Totally awesome. But anyway, okay, let's get back to this. So look at the timeline in the next box. What does it help you understand about Abraham Lincoln? And why did the author put these particular items here, such as Abraham Lincoln is born in Kentucky in 1809, and in 1842, he married Mary Todd. And what else do we have? Oh, there it is. 1861, he became president. Why were those specific events shown on the timeline? Why not other ones? Have a conversation with your partner about that. Oh, and pause the video. Okay, welcome back. Let's look now about the timeline we see at the very bottom of Living Off the Land. Okay, did you find it? Good. If you didn't find it, it's the same one that's in the picture. So at the bottom of the text, you can see this timeline, and it starts a long time ago. It starts at 10,000 BC, where it shows that humans probably began inhabiting, that means living in, inhabiting North America. So have a closer look now. How does this timeline help us as scholarly readers? It has something to do with the types of soil and the types of weather that was happening over the past several thousand years here in this area. So how does this timeline help us? Have a close look. Oh, and pause the video. That's right, pause the video. Okay, welcome back. All right, can you name them all? What were the 6 different text features that help us as readers when we want to locate specific information? Okay, let's try to name them in order. Ready? Go. Headings, subheadings, illustrations, captions, maps, and timelines. Cool. Use these to help you understand what you're reading. They're the author's little tools that an author gives to you to help you understand and find information very fast that you're reading about. So, as a super special, extra, wonderful bonus, I have these 3 links for you. If you want to read an article and understand its text features, choose the first one. If you want a little quiz with some flashcards and games, choose the second link. And if you just want a really cool rap, choose the final link. Okay, friends, have fun, and thank you for listening.